Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. So, for those of you who have just joined us, we are doing our Parenthood On Tour mini series. So, that basically means that for the next few episodes, you'll be hearing me basically giving you updates on my trip, what's happening, and all everything that I'm seeing and doing. And we are not editing these, so these are coming in raw to your ears. And I kind of like that feel for this sort of series because it kind of makes it feel like I'm speaking direct to you. So I leave tomorrow for my trip to the US, and God, so many emotions. I think last week was really challenging for me, and I think this is what I do. I often hit panic station about a week out from a big milestone. I used to freak out a week before, for example, my exams for uni. But then when it was the week of exams and I'm in the throes of it, I get calm again. So a week ago, that happened for me. From the travel perspective, I felt so incredibly guilty about the fact that I was going to leave my kids for 2 weeks to go to the US. I'm going to the US for my sister's to celebrate my sister's 30th birthday, and also using it as an opportunity to do some more work in the media in the US and be on other people's podcasts, and looking for opportunities to even get a TV time slot if I can. That's been an absolute process in itself, this PR stuff. I don't know if anyone else can resonate or if any of you have ever reached out for PR. My my thing with all of this was, okay, I've got this podcast. I've been doing it for 4 years. I'm 140 odd episodes deep, and I'm always looking for opportunities to, I guess, expand, get more people to know about what I'm doing, and also contribute to other people's sort of publications or shows or whatever. So at the back end of last year, I did sort of a mass outreach, I would say, to a lot of the Aussie podcasts, and put myself out there to be a guest on their podcast. And I was quite successful, actually. I went on a few podcasts, and I just loved it. It was so fun. And I also noticed that it was just nice to collaborate with people in the same space. I also got a few more listeners out of it, so that there were lots of benefits in doing that. But then this year, my year has just been so crazy with, as you guys know, at the start of the year, we moved into our new place. Work really ramped up from the property construction work that I do. And I just felt as though I needed some support in trying to get more outreach. So I actually engaged someone who's a publicist in Australia. And unfortunately, whether or not it was just bad timing or I don't know, but I didn't really get that many opportunities, and you spend a lot of money to engage these people. So there's nothing better than feeling like you have invested something and not made a decent return on that investment. But anyway, I let that go, and then I thought, you know what, with this US trip coming up, let's give it another crack. So I reached out to a publicist about 6 weeks before the trip, and after a couple of weeks, no opportunities. Nothing stuck, not even one podcast interview. And you pay up front to these people. And I literally, after my Aussie experience as well, I was literally like, I don't know why I'm bothering with any of this. You know, you go down a bit of a dark spiral of like, is this ever going to happen for me? Like, how am I ever going to grow this any further? Everything just feels all too hard. Anyway, I was doing a voice note to a friend of mine who lives overseas only, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago, and having this exact conversation with her to myself. Obviously, being a voice note, but we often do voice notes to each other because we can never get hold of each other because of the time difference. So, anyway, I was saying to her, I just feel so awful. I've thrown all this money at the wall. Nothing stuck. I'm going all the way to the US. Surely I could have at least gotten on one podcast while I was over there. And then after sort of, finishing that voice note, I thought to myself, now I'm really riled up. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I thought, you know what, I've still got 2 weeks left before I go. I'm going to try someone new. So I reached out to another publicist to try and get some opportunities, and she actually ended up being fantastic. So she's the one I'm working with at the moment. Unfortunately, when I do go over to the States, I do have a few podcasts booked. And as I said, she's trying to get me on TV there. So it's more like a segment so I can sort of, I guess, add value to whichever show I might be able to get on. But that's still a bit of a pipe dream at this point. But shall keep you posted as things progress. But yeah, so yeah, it was just a week of feeling guilty. And I think the guilt was compounded by the fact that at that time, yeah, I didn't have any real work opportunities here in the US. Like these opportunities that I spoke about hadn't come about. So I just felt as though I kept going through this whole thing of, oh, maybe I should have just gone for a week to the US. Maybe why is it 2 weeks? Or I should have left on the Monday rather than the Friday. And, all these things just to kind of, I don't know, like you just spin all these different ideas to, I don't know, it doesn't change anything. I've got my tickets booked. Like I can't change anything now, but just feeling so incredibly guilty, dropping off the kids to school and then like feeling a bit teary after dropping them off because God, are they going to be okay without me? Like, oh, I don't know if you guys can resonate with that, if you've ever had the opportunity to have a bit of time away from your children. But, it sounds fancy and it sounds, a bit special. But, as parents, do our minds ever really leave our kids? They never do, right? So yeah, then I actually came across someone at school. It was a few days before I left. I'm leaving, so obviously I'm leaving tomorrow for the States, but it was a few days ago. And I said to her, all the guilt, and she often travels for work. And I said, the one that I feel like will feel the most of this, feel it the most when I'm away is little Charlie, my 4-year-old. And she said, oh, you'd be surprised with who's the one, which one struggles the most, because she said, so get this, she went away, she said, for 3.5 weeks, and she said that was probably way too long. She goes, 2 weeks feels good because, okay, it's the first week, and then by the second week, you're already talking about mummy's coming home. So anyway, she said she went away for 3.5 weeks, and at about the 2-week mark, her husband, so she's got 3 children, her husband finds her daughter, who the daughter seemed to be the most resilient. The daughter that was the one that she felt would care the least about her being away. But she found her daughter upstairs in her bedroom with a towel over her head and a photo frame, which has a photo of her, the mum, on it. And so she's hugging this photo frame and she's kind of rocking back and forth with this towel on her head. And at that point, her husband was like, we're doing the best over here, but I think it's looking like pretty grim times. Like, the countdown is well and truly on for you to come home. So her point in telling me this story was the fact that, you'll be surprised. The ones that you think will be the most upset can often surprise you and be the most resilient, and then the ones that you think are pretty headstrong can sometimes crumble. So I just thought, my God, you really don't know until you get on that plane and test it out. But I have done a lot as far as preparing our children in the lead up, and I did mention this in a previous Real Talk episode. And what I found quite grounding, and this just helped me as well, is, and I say this because for those listening, if you ever end up taking time away from your children, things to consider. I got a calendar and I wrote down each day that I'm going to be away and the things that the children will be doing. So, it's like, and I'm going away during the school holidays. So I've written down like, grandma and grandpa are staying on these 4 days, so that we write that down, and you'll be doing the school holiday program on this day. And then right at the back end of it, it's like mum's back with a big circle. And so I said, now every day you can cross off the day that you're at, and then you can also count the number of days until mum's back to give them some sort of sense of control and understanding of the schedule. And, then I also said to them, when mum's back, there might be some special gifts that mum might bring back for you. So can you start thinking about what you would like today, so that, you can tell me so I can see if I can find it. So little Charlie, my 4-year-old, was like, I want something Disney, because he's obsessed with Disney princesses, Finding Nemo, like anything Disney, he's obsessed. My eldest Noah was like, I want something Michael Jordan. So, and they're all excited then, because the focus is more around what they're going to get from America versus the fact that mum's leaving. So I felt that that was quite a good strategy, and they got so excited about the idea of crossing off each day that they said, "Can we start crossing off the days now?" Like while I was there, and I'm like, "No, no, no! It's something special that starts where Mum goes." So again, something that they can look forward to doing. So yeah, a sort of a cool strategy. Another thing I settled on, and again, I know I've spoken about this in the previous Real Talk episode, I've settled on the idea of doing daily videos rather than trying to get hold of them to do FaceTimes. Firstly, New York time zone is the complete opposite. So it would have been pretty tough me trying to get some quality time with them when we've got completely opposite time zones. But secondly, I also like feeling a little bit removed from their emotions. And if I send them a video, it might not feel as raw to them about if I was to FaceTime, that might feel a lot more raw for them, that, oh, there's Mum, and hold on, Mum's not here, and why isn't Mum here, and now I'm upset. Versus a video, it feels that little bit more far removed. And also, we do this a lot with my sisters who live overseas, this video back and forth business. Also, they love just being able to hit repeat on the video and watch it multiple times. So it's actually great as like a way to kill some time if you need to get things done. I'll be like, you can rewatch all the videos from Michelle from New York, and they'll just sit there watching her be like, "Hi Noah, hi Charlie, what are you guys up to?" and blah 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 blah. So it's super cute. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. And if they like, they can send a video back. But regardless, when I'm on the streets of New York, when I'm doing something cool, whip out the phone, take a video of it, speak to them directly, and I think it would be a really lovely way to connect as well. So I'm currently looking at my luggage in the corner of my room here. And I have to say, I feel like I've barely packed. I'm literally leaving tomorrow and it's already the evening. But so different when you are packing for a trip without kids, because I have this whole thing of whatever I don't remember, I will just buy when I'm over there. Versus, when you're packing with kids. And I should mention that I am actually doing a trip to Greece in a few weeks' time with my families and obviously with the children. So that will be a different experience and amazing in its own right. But, it's things like I get so stressed when I'm packing with kids, because it's like, don't forget that one comforter that they literally cannot sleep without. You forget that, there goes your sleep for a couple of days. So many specific things. I know that, for example, so my boys still wear a nappy to bed at night time as like a bit of an emergency, because they're still getting used to the idea of going to the toilet, and waking themselves up to go to the toilet. So I will bring those Huggies nappies with me. I remember when we last traveled overseas, we sort of took them out of the pack and like lined the nappies through our clothes and things like that. Great padding as well, to protect fragile items, but also just an easy way to pack them, because I found particularly in Europe, the nappy strength, the long lasting, aspect kind of didn't exist. We had to constantly change nappies very frequently because I just personally found the European ones to be very weak. So yes, a lot more to sort of consider when packing with children, but yeah, a bit less so, I guess, for myself. I'll throw in, all the bits and bobs, just as long as I don't forget my microphone and my laptop and earphones. That's like everything else I can buy when I'm over there. But yeah, so look, next time I report back, I will probably be on the other side of the world. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. For those of you who aren't following us on Instagram, please feel free to join us over there. We're at Parenthood Pod, POD, and I'll pop those details in the show notes. If you can, also please leave us a review or a star rating. That really helps us be able to get the podcast out to more people, because the podcast apps do favor those podcasts that have more ratings. So would really appreciate you being able to have your say and rate where you can as well. Awesome, guys. Well, I shall be in touch with the next episode. In the meantime, take care and we'll speak soon. Bye.